if you've seen my other videos, my previous videos, or seen me in the past, or know me personally even, you'll know just by looking at me that I've lost a ton of weight. And a ton of weight for me. Okay, I wasn't 500 pounds or anything like that, but I was, way over. Here's a picture right here that you can see. I was way over comfortable weight level. My poor wife, right? If you can see this picture. Here's what I look like right now. And at the end of the day, how did I do this? What happened internally that I had to do to create a new person, a new life, a new way of being, a new structure that would allow me to be the man, the father, the husband that I want to be and that God wants me to be, okay? So the first thing I did, I had to come to terms with myself. And I had to look in the mirror and I had to say, okay, this is enough. All right. There's a history of obesity on my father's side of the family. And I've seen them struggle with that for years and years. When I turned 44, earlier this year, when I turned 44 in February, I told myself, I've got a 10-year-old son who's now 11. I have 3 daughters. I need to be the father that they can look up to. I'm not going to be a fat 45-year-old dad. Okay, I'm not going to be that cliche that drinking, multiple nights a week, even if it's just wine, still it's a lot of alcohol coming in, and alcohol is really, really bad for you. And eating a box of crackers with charcuterie and thinking I'm being healthy because there's charcuterie, which is not all that healthy anyway. And then just thinking that I'm doing right every night, tons of inflammation, and I think it's just not all that bad, right? I didn't even see myself as fat, to be honest with you, and I was over 250 pounds. So, and now I've already hit my goal weight of 190 in 8 months, almost 8 months to the day. So I hit my goal weight of 190 pounds. And when I did that, it's weird. I didn't even feel accomplished yet. You know what I'm saying? Not that it's not an accomplishment, but it's just because that's where I'm supposed to be anyway. All right. So how did I do it? What took place that made me, first of all, want to change? Well, I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good. I was ornery. I was usually irritable, and I just wasn't in a good place a lot of the time. And that's because I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like who I was. I was this person. I was that cliche South Louisiana fat dad that's what happens in South Louisiana is that men just, continue to drink beer and get fatter. And I did not want to be that guy. So I had to make a very harsh decision, which was to go completely carnivore. And to go carnivore, that I'd lost weight in the past. I had lost 20 pounds here, 30 pounds there on keto, and I was still 250. I gained it all back because it was like a 2-month deal or whatever, and I'd lose 20, 30 pounds, and then I'd go back to my lifestyle and it would all come back. Like I would do it for Lent, right? And then it would all come back again. Carnivore was a lifestyle change, and with the lifestyle change, it's a different deal altogether. I just had to resign myself to the fact that these other foods are bad for me, and that I can't continue to eat these things. It doesn't agree with me. My body doesn't handle it well, and I just am one of those guys that these types of sweets are just not part of the program for me. They just can't be. I can't do this. I can't have cake. I can't have ice cream. I can't have all these other things and try to and still be healthy. My body does not deal with it well. It just puts on weight. Okay. So what I ended up doing is, like I said, going harsh carnivore. Now let me tell you and this may not be, this is not health advice. Okay. Just let me explain to you what I did, because people ask me all the time, well, what are you eating? Well, it's carnivore. It's not that hard. Okay. If you're asking me what I'm eating because you're looking for ways to cheat. If you're looking for ways to cheat, go the keto route. Okay. You'll probably lose some weight. But as far as eating is concerned, I only eat, let's see, steak when I have it. I'll buy a chuck roll and cut that up. With the price of beef these days, buying individual steaks, and I have a family of 4, I just find it to be, it's not that we can't do it, I kind of refuse to do it. I used to buy individual sirloins for breakfast from Aldi, just wrapped up, and they're usually pretty good. But I just started buying chuck rolls. Got some great Denver steaks in there, some chuck steaks and stuff like that, and we cut up the roasts, and we put the roasts in the crock pot. But that's not a daily thing for me. I'll buy lots of eggs, okay, and when I have a homestead, which I don't have anymore because we live out in the mountains right now, but when I have a homestead, I usually get all my own eggs anyway. We have chickens typically, and then currently over here we have friends that raise that have beef and pigs and stuff like that. So as far as daily intake is concerned, though, it took me a while to get to where I am right now, but simplicity is the key. I go to Sam's, and I know I'm going to get a bunch of flack for this, but I go to Sam's and I get a 12-pack. It's a 12-pack of that jalapeno cheddar sausage from Sam's. I know it's not ideal to be eating sausage every single day, and I get that. But it is quick, and it does give me the fat that I need. It's satiating, and I can keep them in the fridge. I put them on the pit once or twice a week, and when I need something quick, I go to the fridge, grab a link of sausage, and then I'm good. Okay, it's got lots of protein, it's got lots of fat, and that has helped me to lose quite a bit of weight. Also, there's times when I just feel like I need something, and then I didn't know what it was one time, and I walked into the kitchen, I was like, man, what do I want? And I saw butter sitting there, salted butter, and I was like, man, I want that butter. Like something in my body just said, I want that butter. And I've never done that before in my life. I thought it was the weirdest thing, but it is what it is. And so I went and cut a tab off of that and ate it. And I started keeping butter around as a snack to eat periodically throughout the day as just for energy or whatever else. But it's simple, right? Now, do I still drink wine? Yes, I do. I'm going to cut way back on that, though, because even though, I won't drink it during the week typically, but usually on the weekends, I feel like I have to indulge. I feel like that there's a need there, especially in a social setting, that I have to, maybe it's my South Louisiana upbringing, because we're kind of known for that, but for some reason, it's a psychological issue with me that I feel like I have to have some wine in order to be a proper adult or something. I don't know what it is. It's really weird, right? But I think, we keep wine here, but I'm slowly not seeing the benefits of the wine, even as a social lubricant. It's and I'm not saying going to a restaurant, don't have a glass of wine, whatever. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about drinking a bottle. You know what I mean? So if you're going to drink enough to have a hangover in the morning, that's too much. But if you're going out to dinner with friends, whatever the case is, having a glass or two over the course of the evening, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about as an end of the week celebratory thing to have enough to where you're going to get a hangover. That's too much, obviously. Ideally, no alcohol is good for you. Ideally, and I was raised with the idea that a glass of wine a day is is good for your heart and all this other stuff. And that part of that may be true. Okay. Red wine. But my point is that you can still drink some wine and not fall out of ketosis. Okay. I've been in ketosis every single day for 8 months, except for one time. I went out to lunch with a friend of mine. Once I had hit my first goal of 200 pounds, I went out to lunch with a friend of mine, and it was at a sandwich shop. And instead of, like, the only thing they had that I was remotely interested in was a meatball sub. The bread was excellent. I had that bread, but guess what? I fell out of ketosis. And then a couple days later, I'm back in ketosis, okay? Because my body was not filling up with so much glycogen that it couldn't get rid of it. It's because I was already heavy into ketosis, okay? So what do I eat? If I feel like a snack in the evening, it's typically going to be charcuterie, or it's going to be piece of sausage, or it's going to be whatever other kind of meat my wife is cooking. The time she cooks, my wife's from Mexico, she cooks all kinds of things. I am not strict carnivore, like I said before. I guess I am carnivore, kinda. Okay. I'm more carnivore than I am keto-based, I guess, at this point. But I'm not strict carnivore. I will 100%, no bones about it, eat the 0-carb tortillas. If I feel like a tortilla, if I feel like I want a little something with sausage or whatever, or if I want to make a burrito, the 0-carb tortillas, if it keeps you in the game, it's worth doing, right? If it keeps you in the game of losing weight. If I had no bread whatsoever or nothing at all in that regard, I probably wouldn't stick to this quite as well. But because I can have 0-carb tortillas, it takes care of that little part of it. You see what I'm saying? I can put some butter in a pan, make a quesadilla, whatever, and it brings the extra flavors in, and it helps the entire process. So if you have low-carb tortillas, I don't consider, like, I'll use onions. I'll use jalapenos. I like making toreados for flavor for the foods. And so I do these things. So I'm not just a salt and beef guy. I'm not that strict on it. I don't need to be. It's I don't mind consuming the few carbohydrates that are in onions, right? That are in food. To me, taking the flavor out of it, maybe again, this is hearkening back to my upbringing in South Louisiana, where food is very flavorful. This is something that's long term. This is how it stays long term. I don't have any desire to eat sugar. I just don't have a desire to eat it. I mean, of course, the tiramisu, it looks good. All these things smell good, and I've got 4 kids, and they eat pretty healthy, but they're not carnivore, and I understand. I do try to keep them away from the most sugary foods and not to keep it around the house. But again, this is my thing. I'm trying to set the example. Hopefully, they'll follow, right? But we can't expect an 8-year-old to just be carnivore. When we start off on this journey, we're always looking for other answers, and we're looking for ways that we can navigate these waters with the least current coming against you as possible. And for a lot of people, that looks like the easiest ways. Okay. Don't believe any of the nonsense about pork panko bread tasting like real bread, and don't even try it. I try. I'm going to admit it. I tried all this stuff when I first started, and it tasted like egg. By the way, guys, an egg tortilla is called an omelet. I mean, people are being very, very ridiculous when it comes to carnivore tortillas. No, it's an omelet. It's an omelet. What are we talking about? there's, you didn't, my wife the other day, she brought up the idea because somebody in a church group said that they made a what's it called? An omelet bowl. An omelet bowl. What is it? It's got sausage in it and peppers and all this stuff and eggs. It's an omelet bowl. No, it's just scrambled eggs with sausage and peppers in it, right? And onions. It's not an omelet bowl. Anyway, funny thing. People are trying to get so much attention over the dumbest things, but at the end of the day, keep it simple. If you're starting this carnivore journey, keep it simple. Give yourself some grace. All right, this isn't going to come overnight. You have to have the long-term vision in mind. To me, when I turned 44, I said I'm not going to be a fat 45-year-old. My daughter's birthday was 2 weeks later, and I did not have the cake. It's discipline, it's temperance, and it's fortitude, right? So these are all good Catholic virtues and it's prudence, you know? So these are good Catholic virtues that we look at or Christian virtues that we look at that we need to adhere to help us in the long run. Now, what has it done for me that would make it what has it done for me in other areas of my life? Well, number one, my wife looks at me completely differently than she used to. My children look at me in a completely different light. I'm no longer the fat dad, I'm the fit dad. And now my son, who's 11 years old, he can watch his dad do 40 plus push-ups, do handstand push-ups, and go for long hikes in the woods over here without getting winded, right? So it's done that. The discipline part of this has encroached onto other areas of my life as well. So having that discipline has gone to show where it's made me a better trader, it's made me a better husband, it's made me less cranky, and all these other things. All right, so it improves not just your weight, not just your pant size. I was a 38, size 38, sometimes 40, depending on the pants, and now I'm fitting easily into size 32 Wranglers. Okay, back where I was before I got married. So, and I'm 6 feet tall. So I'm back in size 32s, sometimes 34s, and only because I had 34s before I bought 32s again, and I just don't want to throw those away. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm just getting thinner and thinner, right? Now, I am not to a point where it's an unhealthy weight, and I don't think carnivore you're going to get to an unhealthy weight. You certainly can with veganism or vegetarianism. You can become an unhealthy weight, but not with eating protein and animal fat. So anyhow, that being said, if you like this, if you're on this kind of journey, I hope this provides a little bit of help to you. I hope it provides some reassurance that this is not going to happen overnight, and it's okay if you fumble. If you fall off the horse, just get back in the saddle. Like we all have to do a lot of the time. If that's the case, just get back in the saddle and keep on going. Okay? Anyway, take care. God bless you. Subscribe if you want more content that has to do with masculinity, fatherhood, Catholicism, Christianity. Well, Catholicism is the original Christianity. But anyway, if you like this, enjoy, subscribe, comment. God bless. Bye-bye.